Hey, welcome back to this very special New Year's edition of Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. We're in the beautiful Tropicana Hotel in Atlantic City, New Jersey. We've taken the show on the road. We're out of the Question Tequila Studios to end the year on a high note down here in Atlantic City. And joining us now is Dr. John Francis. He's a West Cape, Maine, New Jersey commissioner. He's a scientist. He's also an author, and he's also a Democratic candidate for the 2nd Congressional District here, where one Jeff Van Drew was the congressman. Now that he's voted against impeachment with the smart guys on the Republican side, he's no longer in the Democratic Party. And Doctor, you'll be joining in that primary to try to take him on.
I will.
So you have a long storied history of being a very brooding man. There's this urban legend out there that you walked across the entire country.
Yes.
What inspires someone to walk a nation?
Well, I witnessed an oil spill in California where I was living, and it really bothered me to see the destruction, so I decided to give up riding in motorized vehicles. And when I did that, all of my neighbors, they said, "John, you're crazy. What is one person going to do? What's one person? How can they make a difference?" And I didn't know the answer to that. And I got tired of the arguing, and so I decided on my 27th birthday I was going to stop speaking, but just for one day. And during that one day, I realized I hadn't been listening. And so I hadn't been listening, and I had stopped learning. So I decided I would do that for another day. Yeah.
And then you tell
one
two
more
friends,
day.
and so on, and so on, and so on.
Yeah.
Before you know it's a month. Now I want to tell you, before going deeper into this, Frank would probably pay anything for me to not talk for one day.
I have the secret.
You may want to teach me how to keep my mouth shut for a day. And someone that I respect very much said, JT, that's why you got 2 ears and 1 mouth, because you're supposed to listen a lot more than you talk. So you went on this 22-year walking tour where you walked the country, never rode in any motorized vehicle, didn't use anything, didn't travel in any way with anything that used fossil fuels, right?
Exactly.
That was like your silent one-man protest.
Yeah.
So from 27, it turned out one day turned into 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, 1 decade, and at 44 years old, you got a master's degree. You walked across the whole country, and you uttered not a single word for 17 years.
I got a PhD.
That's what I said. Oh, a master's degree. You got a doctorate.
Trying to shortchange you.
On top.
Make you citizen Francis instead of.
Well, I think I like it better when you don't talk. You don't correct me. Maybe.
Dr. Francis, first of all, we can talk with you for hours about your 17 years of silence. That's a book in and of itself. In fact, I think it's one you may have written. However, I want to ask you about the dynamics of this particular congressional race. It seems like a lot of the Democratic Party leadership is lining up behind the wife of former Congressman Patrick Kennedy, who's from South Jersey. Tell me about your decision to run for Congress. Was this a reaction to Jeff Van Drew's decision to vote for impeachment, or had you been planning on running anyway?
Well, first it was because some people asked me, and I hadn't been following it closely enough to know that Jeff Van Drew was going to flip over. And when they asked me, I started looking at what was going on, and I decided I would do it. But I would do it no matter if someone else had the endorsement. I was going to do this from the grassroots. And because these people were from the grassroots in several organizations, grassroots organization, I jumped in the race, but I jumped in as a total grassroots movement.
Now, someone who broods over something like the use of fossil fuel for 17 years of silence, I would imagine you put some decent thought into your chances. Like, is this another protest that you're jumping in because you're not happy? Or do you think you can win the Democratic primary and represent New Jersey's 2nd Congressional District? Can you win?
I think I can win this primary. When I stopped speaking for 17 years, I ended up working at the Coast Guard, writing oil pollution regulations for the United States. If someone would have asked me if that's what I would do if I started walking and stopped talking, I'd say, you're probably crazy. if you ask me today, which you
See, you have a website going out there. You have some place where people can figure out if you're their choice.
Yeah, you can look on my Facebook page, Dr. John Francis, Planet Walker, my website, planetwalk.org, and there isn't the campaign website up yet, but that will follow.
Fantastic. I want to thank Dr. John Francis, Planet Walker. I'm going to try to learn a thing or two from him about keeping my mouth shut, but this guy didn't say one word for 17 years. I can't do that for 17 minutes, but thank you so much, Doc. All the best to you.
Thank
Go
you.
check out the Good Doctors page and find out what it takes to walk across the country in complete and utter silence. Silence will be just a few moments of commercials, and we're coming back at you with more Liquid Lunch right after this.